Hi, welcome to this episode of Parents Leading Change TV, where we support you to live your family life on purpose. Today's episode, we're going to teach you 3 things that you can do today to teach your child how to be more resilient. And I looked at the dictionary definition of resilience and it said how to properly adapt to stress and adversity, whether it's in the form of family, relationships, money, health, work. And so how do we adapt? So I've got 3 key areas that I want to talk to you about today, and they're often not talked about. The first one is how well you deal with reality. So ask yourself, how well do you deal with reality? Now, I thought I was pretty resilient and I thought I was dealing with reality really well. And then after my coaching program, which was shown on 3 years ago now, I realized that I wasn't dealing with reality as best as I thought I was, as good as I thought I was. There were a few reasons for that. So there's things like when we mind read other people. So we could be having a conversation with our boss and we're mind reading what they're thinking of us, and therefore that's creating a reaction in our body, and then we're reacting from that place of the mind read, and then our response may be quite curt or quite unexpected, and it comes from developing this distortion that we put in our mind of mind reading. Another example is when we hallucinate, when we imagine that something's happened and it hasn't actually happened yet, and so we imagine that we're going to be run over by a car when we walk out, and that creates a level of anxiety. I've actually had a client with this, and that creates a certain level of anxiety. However, that hasn't actually happened yet, and so it's distorting the reality of actually what's happening. And so dealing with reality requires us to actually see, hear or feel what's happening directly, rather than creating these distortions in our mind. Area number 2 is really looking at how much we link achievement to our identity. Now, if you think about resilience, it's about our ability to get up and our ability to move on past challenges when we don't do something so well. So achievement's a big one when we're wanting to be leaders, and achievement attached to our identity causes us a lot of immense stress and a lot of challenges within ourselves. So let me give you an example. Are you only successful if you've got a big house? Are you only successful if you drive a certain car? Are you only successful if your kids do well at a certain activity? Are you only successful if you get praise from somebody else? And when you don't get that, do you then attack yourself? Do you then say, I'm a bad person, I'm not achieving this, I'm not doing so well? That is linking it to your identity, because you're saying, I'm a bad person, I'm doing something wrong. Whereas what we're really looking at here is that actually you may not have done that activity so well, whether it was that report at work or whether it was that squash game or whatever it is. And you can learn from that and you can move on. However, when you frame it like that, it really does separate it from our identity. We separate the behaviour or the activity from who we are. So listen to your languaging around when you say, I'm no good at that, or I'm really bad because I don't do that really well. Well, you're not bad. What is bad is that that activity, you're actually attacking your identity when it's the activity that you need to develop more experience in, or a different skill, or some other way to build your experience in that activity. So this is a critical one, and so teaching our kids this is fundamental in being able to build strong resilience. Area number 3 is how much you allow others to impact your well-being. So I had a situation the other day where I was looking for a new gym, and before I'd entered the gym with my son, and the lady hadn't even seen us yet, but heard the door heard me when I said, "Hello, is anyone there?" And before she'd even rounded the corner, she said, "Yeah, what do you want?" And the tone of voice, for me anyway, how I received it, wasn't very welcoming. And then when I was talking to her about signing, talking about the contract, she was very vague and wouldn't give me much information. And then when I was trying to clarify what exactly was included in the package if I signed up, she started to say, "Oh God," there was body expressions and tonality. To me, it felt like I was asking too hard questions. She couldn't be bothered to answer them, and she wasn't really that bothered. That's how I received it. Now, if I'd have allowed her to impact me, I might have made that about me. I might have made that, "Oh, she doesn't like me, maybe I don't fit in here," all these other meanings that I could have attached to it, that then would have made that situation, I could have maybe reacted more defensively or more annoyed or more frustrated. However, I knew that it was her stuff and not mine. And this becomes a really critical distinction when we're talking about resilience, because how much do you take on board other people's behaviours and actions and make them meaningful about you and make them something about you? Because I know I used to do this heaps. And so it's really transformed the way that I can pick myself up when I don't get emotionally triggered now by these kind of situations. So those are my 3 areas that you can focus on today. You focus on them, your kids learn them. It's so much better, it's so much easier when you're doing these things yourself. So I hope they've helped you today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.